and welcome to another Dustn.tv interview. Today I get to talk to a buddy of mine who I've admired and loved from afar for a very long time. We met a couple years back at a conference called R12, and he is a phenomenal human being and a beautiful man at that. And I'm excited to interview him today. He's going to be talking about how one births a great conference. And Justin J. Dean is my guest today. Justin, how are you?
Hey, man, doing good.
Awesome. So, Justin, you've done a lot of interesting things. You are a master at communication, and I've seen you work at high-level organizations and been a fan of just you as a human being. So tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, what your experience is, and where you're at today.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, my background is in marketing and advertising. Really worked at a bunch of startups and companies like Autotrader.com, and was really in the kind of tech startup scene for a while. And at one point, God called me to give up all that and stop chasing the ladder and trying to make as much money as possible and go work for the church. So we were in Seattle at the time when that happened, and attending Mars Hill, and they had a marketing position open there. So I went and applied for it and took about an 80% pay cut and went into ministry. And
like you do.
Yeah, it was quite a change for us, but it was definitely a God thing. He knew what he was doing and pushed us into it kind of feet first. So I was there for 4 years, was the communications director, so overseeing all PR and social media, all of our content. We had a wonderful team there producing a lot of great stuff, and so I was glad to be a part of that. And obviously, when that closed at the end of the year last year, we moved back to Atlanta, Georgia, where we had been before. Really, I've just been spending my time kind of taking what I've learned at Mars Hill and helping apply that at different churches, helping them consulting here and there, just trying to help them with PR and social media, and just to start thinking about what it means to communicate well and reach more people, how to protect yourself from some of the stuff that we dealt with at Mars Hill. And just been spending the time doing that, and then got the idea, why not do a conference?
That's great. So you're in Atlanta now, and I want to talk about this too because it's just fascinating to me. I'm a conference junkie. I will jump at every conference opportunity I can because I love people and I love interacting with people. So conferences give me a chance to step out from behind my desk and actually go meet people face to face. And so I love that. You and I met back at R12, where I was a guest there. I was graciously allowed to freeload and be one of the bloggers on the social media.
That was great, though. I think you live blogged it for us, right?
I did. I did my darndest
Awesome.
to do it, despite Wi-Fi challenges.
Sorry about that.
Every conference
church, really.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it, and was sad when I couldn't attend the following year just because of scheduling. But so now you've done the conference thing a few times. I assume you were an integral part in creating the Resurgence conferences. So tell me how this idea came to you. What was it that that came to you that made you say, we need to do a conference?
Yeah. It had been something that I had been thinking about for quite a while. It's something that we wanted to do at Mars Hill. We had participated in like social media day and stuff like that, and we started a cool Facebook group. Corinne Bauer, I think you know and have talked to a few times. She was our social media manager at Mars Hill.
Yeah.
She put together this wonderful group, just really getting all communications and social media directors from lots of different churches in a single group, and we were able to just share stories and encourage each other. And hey, we're launching this type of sermon series, or we're launching this book, or we're doing this, and what are some ideas and how we can help get the word out on this. And it was great. I mean, you'd have Haley from Saddleback chiming in, and Chris over in New Spring saying this is what we're doing, and we just love that kind of collaboration. We were so hold off on our own at Mars Hill, and really didn't reach out a lot. And so when we did that, we realized, man, we really need to start collaborating with more churches. And so I always wanted to put on kind of a communications conference or webinars, seminars, things like that. We just never really got it off to a start at Mars Hill, because it was, if you're going to do it at Mars Hill, it means we got to do it big. And we just, never was, a big priority. So when I left and came back here, it's been something on my mind to want to put together. And when I moved here, one of the first things that we did, a friend of mine, Dave Adamson, who's social media director at North Point Ministries, he said, man, you're in town. I want to start connecting you with other people in the area. And so him and I, a guy named Van Baird from Relational Equity, and Ashley Williams, who used to run social media for Catalyst, we all got together for coffee. And it was just, all these great minds, wonderful people. We all shared kind of the same philosophies on social media and ministry. And, we're all going to North Point churches. And, it was bound that we were going to build something together if we kept hanging out.
That's pretty awesome how that happens, right?
Yeah.
Totally,
yeah, it was totally just kind of impromptu, just really just connecting, trying to get to know each other. And it was 30 minutes into our little coffee session before we were like, man, what are we going to do together? And so I threw out the idea. I said, hey, I've always wanted to do kind of a communications conference. We always needed help at Mars Hill. There's plenty of great conferences. You can go to Catalyst. You can go to, tons of different conferences that have breakouts and sessions on communications and social media, but nothing really geared towards it. A lot of online conferences as well, which makes sense, but not something you can go to and really be in touch with other directors and managers and collaborate together. And so they said, yeah, we're all in. Let's do it. By the time we were done, an hour later, we already had a Twitter handle and a URL bot. We were ready to go. I think I built the first site that night.
Go grab the Twitter handle right now.
Yeah, it was very important that we made sure everything was available. So, which is why we came up with the name That Church Conference. I think Dave threw it out. And we all just kind of laughed, and then we said, well, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just go for it.
Yeah, it's kind of different. I like it.
You could spend forever coming up with a name and never get something you love. So now it just feels right.
Yeah, it almost feels like an Abbott and Costello. Like, hey, you going to that church conference? Which church conference? That church conference. That one? Yep. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. How do I find out? I just go to thatchurchconference.com.
Yeah, I love it. So tell us a little bit about the conference. How did you structure it? What was sort of the strategy around putting it together? Sort of the direction I would love to see this interview go is, just how your mind starts to operate when you're creating a conference. Because I imagine, a lot of people watching this have been to conferences, but may not know what actually goes into the creation or the strategy or the just the thinking of building a conference. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we didn't know that either until we started planning one. I was so involved with Resurgence, but it's such a big major conference that we knew we weren't going to do something like that. So we had really no idea what we were doing, and we're kind of still flying by the seats. But it's coming together really nicely. We're really, really happy with where it's at. Basically, one of the first things we decided was, are we going to do this as a digital online conference? It definitely would have been cheaper and easier. But right off the bat, we decided, what are we going to be all about? Like, what's important to us? And at that first meeting, even that's what we started discussing is, how do we want this conference to be structured? We had all been to every conference imaginable and kind of picked apart, saying, here's what we like from this one, here's what we like from this one, content wise and structure wise and stuff like that. But knowing that we'd be pretty bootstrapped and low budget, we knew we'd want to do something simple, but we wanted it to be in person. And we've got a lot of slack from that. So many people are asking us, hey, why isn't this online? And I know they had the Foundations Conference, which was excellent, and it was online. And Everyone say, why don't you just do something like that? That way we don't have to fly in and get a hotel and stuff like that. And I get that. But we wanted this to be something very interactive. We were tired of going to conferences where you just sit and you hear a lecture for an hour and it's all high level theory stuff, and it's great. You learn from it, but you leave going, man, I'm fired up. I love this. I'm ready to go. But wait, what do I do next? How do I actually implement this? Or you get back to your office and it's like, oh, nobody's, on fire for this as much as I am. How do I get my whole team on board with this? I should have brought them all with me. And so we wanted to avoid that a little bit as much as we could, really. So the way that we've structured it is to be as interactive as possible. So we purposely chose a small venue. We've got Rome here is like a co-working type of space, but they have big rooms that you can rent out. So we've rented out a room that at full capacity will be a little over 200 people, and that's where we're cutting it off at. So that'll be the biggest that this will be, at least this year. And we've divided it so that everyone's sitting at a desk. You have power. You can bring your laptop.
Oh,
you can,
nice.
sit there and work while the conference is going on. And each speaker is probably gonna.
Did you check on the Wi-Fi?
It's really good Wi-Fi. We picked a spot that's got really good Wi-Fi. So hopefully we won't have any problems there. Because
no, true story though. Having gone to social media marketing world 2 years in a row, and seeing how massive that conference is. At that conference, they see, I think last year was over 3,000 people. The year before was pretty darn close to 3,000 people. And they brought in professional Wi-Fi teams, and they still had
really.
But because it's 3,000 people all with like 13 devices,
an iPad, an iPhone, and a MacBook, and they've got
they had the smart watches, and
now you got the watches, and
you got the weirdos who brought their Xbox, and they're like,
yeah, it's true. You see that.
It happens.
Yeah. So we'll hopefully have really, really good Wi-Fi. So we've been promised it'll be enough. And they do events like this all the time there. So yeah, I mean, we planned out, said, how long we want our speakers to go, and that kind of gave us an idea of how many speakers we could invite. We've maxed out at 10. So some of them are going to speak longer than others. Some are going to have kind of panel sessions and stuff like that. But it's really a one-day conference. We're going to have a happy hour networking event the night before, and then the conference is all day Wednesday from about 9 to 5, and they'll just be back-to-back sessions, and they'll speak for 15, 20 minutes, and then the rest of it's going to be really interactive. Like my talk is going to be about PR and crisis management and how you can do that digitally online, and what it means to listen and build relationships online to kind of be proactive with that. So I'm going to kind of lay down the theory, and then we're going to sit down and actually have a dialogue with the audience saying, do you have a crisis plan now? What does it look like? What works for you? And kind of go back and forth that way, and then create one kind of on the spot. That way everyone leaves with something tangible that they can, at least a start to a plan for their church, because everyone's plan is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to provide something they can leave with that will at least jumpstart that. And the other sessions are going to be pretty similar. So, we want to be as practical and hands-on as possible. A lot of small churches are coming, and a lot of big ones too, but, mainly the audience is people who have limited staff, limited resources. There's maybe one communications guy or girl, and they probably are also the worship leader, and it's, they're just trying to do this, bootstrap as well. So that's who we're trying to help.
That's awesome. And, I was at a conference last October, and the name escapes me. It was a search marketing conference. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot it. But I was there, and they were the founder, one of the guys who started the conference, was talking about their origin story for their conference, and I guess it started in Ireland. PubCon started in Ireland at a pub, hence PubCon, and they started with 70 people in a pub.
Wow.
And, I think they've been going like a decade or more. decade or more later, they're one of the largest search engine marketing conferences that there is, and I think they're doing like 2 of them a year now. So everybody starts somewhere, and I think you've really nailed a niche that needs to be addressed. And coming myself from the church world, you're filling a gap that I think is desperately needed. So I wish you the best of luck. As we wrap up here, I would love for you to give a tip for anyone out there who may be doing, not necessarily a conference, but maybe they're doing a large-scale event or any sort of event. What would your advice be for them promotion-wise? How do they get the word out, and what are some of your best tactics? I could name one of my favorites that you used that worked beautifully, but I'd love to hear some of your best advice for spreading the word on social media.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the way that we're promoting this is we also want to display some of the advice that we're giving out at the conference. We want to kind of show that. If you follow our Twitter,
eat your own dog food kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you follow us online and how we're promoting the conference, you'll see how we're interacting with people and building relationships that way. And it's not just promotion after promotion. It's really interacting with people and getting to know them and kind of feeding off of that in order to get the momentum going. And one thing we learned at the Resurgence Conference is everybody registers the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, no matter what. It's just everybody's kind of late planners. So, right now we're seeing, tickets kind of every few hours come in, where it's been kind of panic mode up until this, going, man, are people registering for this? And we kind of trickle in, but now they're flooding in. It was the same way with the bigger conferences as well. So I would advise, don't panic, know that that's going to come at the end, but build that time up, just really getting to know people that are following you, that are your audiences. Go and seek them out. I mean, we did a lot of searches on Twitter and LinkedIn for communications people working at churches, and we just hit them up, friend them, start talking to them and building that relationship there. And one thing we did is we built, a private Facebook group of people who we thought would, be on board with helping to promote the conference, just like-minded people who are fans of the speakers and fans of us and stuff like that. And we invited them to a group, and basically I said, hey, if you want to help us promote the conference on your channels, I mean, these are people that, some of them have a little following, some have big, some have access to email lists and things like that. And we just said, we're going to try and give you as many freebies and things like that as possible. So we're going to give them t-shirts. We're going to give them free books. I've got a ton of books back here that I'm just going to start giving out. And one thing that you've taken advantage of, I know, is Starbucks cards. I just loaded up a Starbucks card with $20 and put it on auto reload, and dumped a screenshot of it into that group, and it's been reloaded, I think, 4 or 5 times now. So
yeah, I think that's an important tactic. I think, telling your people, look, we want your help, and we have a small budget, but here's what we can do. Go grab a coffee on us. And for me, I don't care what conference it is. If you're giving me Starbucks to help spread the word, I'm spreading that word, baby.
Nice.
So what you did, I want to give people the technical aspect of it is literally just create a Starbucks card.
Yeah, on the app, on your phone.
Yeah, right on your phone, load it up, take a screenshot of the payment screen. So you got the little barcode on there, and people can use that image to go just scan at their local Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, when you pay for Starbucks using your phone, all you're showing them is the barcode on the screen. So it doesn't matter if it's a screenshot or not. So they can, they can save that image to their phone and just display it. They don't have to say, oh, this is a weird thing I got. No, it's just show the barcode.
Show them and walk away.
Yeah, and if it, if it doesn't go through, if it didn't reload or whatever, then, you may be on your own there. But for the most part,
I've only seen, the first time I saw this tactic used was an email newsletter list. My buddy Jeremy Smith, who had a fantastic email newsletter a while back, he did that in his email newsletter. Every now and then he would just throw a screenshot in there and say, hey, grab a Starbucks on me. When it runs out, it runs out.
Right.
And I think my buddy Justin Wise has done that several times as well.
Yeah.
And every single time I jump all over it. I'm like, so grateful because of, Starbucks addict like me.
Yeah, it's super easy. I mean,
we'll tweet for Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. They should really make a mechanism to make this easier. I'm more legit, but
Yeah,
it's great. I mean, people feel love, they feel appreciated, and we do appreciate them helping get the word out. And so far it's worked great. I mean, people want to help and promote something that they believe in, but sometimes it takes just a little incentive to get them going. So.
Appreciation goes a long way, even on a small budget. So,
yeah, exactly.
So Justin, thanks so much for joining me. I know you got plenty to do working up to the conference, and I just want to let everybody know they can go to thatchurchconference.com to find out more, or thatcc.com. Brilliant idea, by the way.
Easier to share online that way, for sure.
Share online, easier to remember. Thatcc.com. Go find out more info. It's going to be an awesome conference. I wish I could attend, but due to other conferences that I'm speaking at, I cannot make it out to Georgia. But I recommend anybody.
Better next year for sure.
What's that?
We'll plan that better next year for sure.
Yes, we'll plan it around my speaking schedule.
Exactly.
So if you are in church marketing or any level of church communications, I think this is the conference that you need to go to, take your team to, or at least find out more about for next time. And this has been another Dustn.tv interview, and I will see you on the blog. Be well, do well, and I'll talk to you soon-ish, or maybe not, but let's try.